What is going on, AI Explorers? Welcome back to another video. My name is D'Lo Brands, and today we are diving into the world of vibe coding again with Trey AI. Yes, Trey AI. I have been wanting to do a video on this, for so long because number one, it's free. Number two, it's fast. And number three, it has so much customization. And number four, it's local. It is local. So this is the interface, very familiar. If you use things like VS Code or if you are a programmer of any kind, you probably can see, this interface being very familiar. But for the people that are new, um, really quick rundown. I mean, you can clone a Git repo and put it in to Trey and continue working on it or work with the files from it. You can literally add agents into Trey to be able to do things. And let's just look at this. So it can have access to tools, your file system, terminal, web search, preview. You can give it custom instructions, guidelines, very, very customizable. And so what the best programmers I think are doing are they have knowledge of the best coding practices, and so what they're doing is embedding that into the instructions to make sure that they're getting the best output possible. So with Trey, you can build things, and it's gonna do it itself. And Trey has two sides to it. It has the builder and it has the chat. So on one hand, you can talk to Trey. You can ask, "Hey, what do you think about this part of the app or this part of the code?" And it can make suggestions. Um, but you can also just let the builder do its thing. It'll devise the best way possible to go about it. We do have a few different models, and you can add other models. So right here, we see models, and you can add your custom model. But right now, it has Claude, Gemini, GPT, DeepSeek. But if you wanted to add a Perplexity or you wanted to add, any of these other models, then you definitely can, utilizing your API keys. So one more customization that they have is MCPs. So Trey is able to connect to whatever MCP servers and actually help you create MCP servers. That will be in a different video, but this is very, very powerful because it's local. I'm not paying for this and I have access to all of these models. Pretty sure there's some limit of some kind, but let's get right into it and see exactly, what we can do. But before we get there, let's explore it a little bit more. So you have the search right here where you can search for specific things within the folder, within the code, source control. They have a preview interface where you can see a complete preview of what you're building out right there in the app. They have a debugger. So debuggers are actually a different agent. If you've seen on like an app like Rourke, you have a actual builder of the app, and then you have a code assessor or a code inspector that helps it, fix itself. And we have Remote Explorer. This is something I don't really know much about. And then you have extensions. So very similar to other coding platforms, you can add in different extensions, but the more powerful one is, I would say, MCPs. So now that we have explored the app, we know what we're doing, we know what app we're in. Let's get in here and actually build something. So what we're gonna do is say at one of our agents. We have two agents, builder with MCP. You just have to add MCP servers to it. If you go in here and go in here, you have some that are already available for you. So, Google Drive, Google Maps, time, memory. This is very, like, y'all do not understand how powerful this is. I did not pay for this. I did not pay for this. But we're going to go in here and say at builder, what do we want our builder to do? We want our builder to actually make a simple interactive greeting web page. This is something very, very simple, and our next one is going to be a little bit more complex, but we want to try this one out first. And so you can choose the model, I'm pretty sure, but I think at some level it does pick the model for you. But this is what I'll do. So since Code 3.7 has been known to be one of the best coders, let's just use that one. And so if you want to add context, you can you know, say, bam, use this file or use this doc or use this web. And you can add in things, you can add in images. So let's say you have some type of inspiration for that greeting web page, or maybe you have a UI design that you got from a website for inspiration. You can input that into here. Let's click enter. So please open a folder to save the files in this project. Open folder. Don't even know what this is. Have no clue. So let's just do this. Let's make a new folder. I'm just gonna go to my documents. We're gonna say Trae test, and we're gonna say open this folder. So it's gonna ask you some prompts. Just say, yeah, trust the authors, because this is your computer, and it's gonna begin working. So um, as an AI agent, it is going to work on its own. It's going to figure out the best way possible. And while this is free, you do have to, enter a queue when there are, larger usage amounts for the platform. But relatively quickly, it'll begin building that out. And so, similar to other things that we reviewed, Firebase, Rourke, it's going to build out all of the necessary files for it to house all of the code in a structured format, and it's going to create that. And then we're going to go to our preview and actually go in here. So we just clicked accept on changes. One file needs review. Let's see. Changes were successfully applied. Confirm. And so I'm pretty sure there's some auto confirm option somewhere, but right now we're just gonna, accept the changes. Right now it has a command that it's looking to run, and I'm pretty sure this is putting it on our local server so that we can view it on our, internet. And this is very powerful for anyone that, either wants to just test out things, or you maybe have an idea that you want to get a really quick MVP of. You can go in a place like this and see it. And so we have our preview right here. Let's say Jake, get to greet me. So the functionality may not be in here right now. Jason. So let's actually go over here. And so now we have it in our local browser. Let's see if it'll work here. So the functionality doesn't work. So all we're gonna do is say, Trey, the functionality of the button does not work. Please fix. And on the initial generations that you have for a lot of these platforms that you will build in this way, their functionality isn't either correct or embedded correctly within the code. So you have to, get it to actually do something about it. And it said the button functionality issue is causing this. But I'm pretty sure that the actual AI part is in here because it is most likely using one of the models that it has, and it's embedded that into it. But it did not prompt us to input an API key or anything like that. So we'll see. All right, so it's trying to push it back to the local. And so what this is basically doing is just going inside of your terminal, and that is very cool. So bam, now we have this version where it's showing the time. So it's like real time. Let's say Jason, greet me. And boom, good morning, Jason. And now this is a very, very simple build out that we did do, but let's get into a more complex one now. So boom, what we're gonna do is clear this folder out. And so all we have to do is go and press Command KF, and it'll close that folder. So we basically have a reset. And so what I'm gonna do is input a prompt that I got from Gemini. It has very robust amount of information, but I want to see exactly how Trey does with a app of this size, and if it actually, pinpoints the functionality that we're looking for. So let's click enter. We're gonna have to open a folder. Let's say event app, and let's open that. So now it has the folder that it will use, and bam, let's let it do it. Let's let it do its thing. And periodically you'll have to come in here and accept something or proceed. Like for example, in the terminal, I just clicked Y and complete, proceed or whatever. And so it's going to build out this entire thing. All right, npm install React router. Don't even know what that is. I find it so funny that I have really no clue what code. Like I can't. It's difficult to read code for me. like looking at a line of code and knowing exactly what each line is doing. I know, some things are calling functions or getting data from other places or whatever. But I find it so funny that I can have zero knowledge of this and be able to move forward. Like it's actually kind of crazy. And as I'm watching it go, for example, it has this failed right here next to the app.json or JSX. I don't know if that's JSON. Okay. But it said, okay, I need to examine the current file before modifying it to implement the correct structure because it had something fail within that. So it's basically fixing itself. And this is the power. This is the power of AI agents. And so we're gonna accept that. Like this is crazy. It's basically linking everything together. For example, import this from this. I know what that is. Like that looks so easy to understand, but when you get to, let's go to app.jsx. You got return, you got function. And it's like, okay, that whole entire thing is a function. Look, I'm about to go take a computer science class to learn this language because I don't want to just be oblivious to it. I want to make sure that I know what's going on because I plan on building tons of apps with this. I already have built, you know, I want to say about 10 different apps with AI right now, like actually sitting here and working on them. So I want to have a little bit more knowledge and I'll definitely share that knowledge with you guys when it comes to time. Let's accept all. And we can see that this is a more complex project. So it's compared to our last example where it literally had one folder of code or one sheet of code. This is having to build out, an entire suite of folders and store assets public. Like it's a lot. But all of this is being done locally. So on your computer. It's not done in the cloud. So keep that in mind. I mean, when you're building super large apps, it can take up a lot of room on your computer if you don't have a lot of room. So just keep that in mind. But I wonder what these numbers are right here, like plus 60, minus 28, plus 23, minus 0. I wonder what those are. Let's accept. And so down here, if you guys drag up the outline, you can see a full look of what the agent has planned. I believe it said, okay, we're gonna build this out. Says code is almost ready. I'm excited to see this because like this is a lot of work. Box, button, card actions, card content. So this one, the event page has, over over 500 lines of code. Grid item, divider, menu item, form control. Like this is very significant and I'm looking at it like this. Like for right now, developers can build out kind of like a skeleton, kind of the same way a graphic designer would use a template and they can go in and make that skeleton whatever they want it to be with all the code that they want to input into it. So they can say, "Hey, I want the code to be like a skeleton. It may not generate a preview, but that's the base place that I want to have." Not a person like me, but I think it'll be great for developers to do that. So we actually reached the limit of the model thinking, and we had to click continue for it to keep going, and it's just continuing. Yeah, so I guess that it has a quota, or not a quota, but a parameter of how much thinking it can do. And with a larger app like this, it's doing a lot of thinking. I mean, it's been almost 10 minutes already, but I mean, if I can build out an entire multi-level app 10 minutes, I am very satisfied with that. And it is continuing to work. All right, so we have our generation. It has just absolutely destroyed this thing, And so now what we're gonna do is go to a preview. Preview. Let's see. Can I see a preview? So based on the components, here's a preview of what. Push it to local host so I can see the app. Usually it would do that automatically. I'm not sure why this one didn't do it automatically, but we'll work with it. All right, so We now have our local host. And let's see if this opens. No, it didn't. Wow. Run the following command to start the development server. Are they installed? I don't know. Once the server starts, you should see output in the terminal with the local URL, something like this. So let's go to local. Okay. So this is what I got. It basically failed to resolve import of the dashboard page. Does a file exist? Click outside, press X to fix the code. Wait, what did it say? Press escape P or fix the code to dismiss. Okay, so it has to fix the code. Let's say app builder. All right, let's say app builder. Fix the code of the dashboard page and push it to localhost so I can preview. And so what we're actually gonna do is stop the builder. We're gonna take a screenshot. We're gonna take a screenshot of the response it gave us, and we're gonna implement this screenshot into Trae. We're gonna say fix this error and just let it go off of that so it knows specifically what it needs to do. All right, people. So we have something to really address with Trae. I have waited pretty much all day for this to get done, and it just got done maybe 30 minutes ago. And I was stuck in this queue for hours. It was a very low queue, I would say, 100 people or 100 requests. And it took multiple tries, multiple continues, multiple of a number of different efforts to get it to do anything, and then it finally gives me this preview, and it's a broken preview. Well, the preview isn't broken, the code is broken. It just created something that is absolutely not good. And now I can see why this is in fact a free AI application, which actually doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that it has something to do with, I'm not sure. Because, I could have given this to a platform like Rourke, and it would have built out a complete event app that, looks like it's supposed to be on a phone, looks like it's, in those regards. But what is done here is just very very bad. And maybe, okay, so, they have all of these customizations, but the thing is, bro, this thing took forever. And I just simply thought it was making the absolute best thing possible, and it was not. It wasn't. Let's see. Jane Doe at gmail.com, Jane Doe 223, Jane Doe 223, Jane Doe Corp. Subscription tier free, sign up. Okay, so we're in this dashboard now, and we have functionality. So on the free subscription, you got 5 free events. You can create an event. Add all of this. You can add an image, I believe. No, you can't add an image, but it did do a lot. And I'm pretty sure that all of this data has the right place to be stored at and be accessed for different parts of the app. But I don't know. This is just a little bit underwhelming. Like, I thought it would at least look a little bit better. Have the correct placement of words or buttons or sizes of things or sections on the page. And it's just, let's try to create an event. So let's say the event Jane Networking. It's on the 13th and it ends on the 13th. So it's a 2-hour thing. Physical address 223 Jane Doe Street. Maximum attendees 50. Add tag marketing. Custom URL. Jane Doe event. Organizers only can see public. Let's put it to public. Cancellation window 24 hours before event. Okay. Add question. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, so you can add a question. Okay. What is your interest? And you can require it, and then you can save as drafts. And I'm not sure what that did. We have no drafts here. Like it looks like, okay, so for a backend, it has a lot of functionality. It has functionality in the back end, but even then, let's just say this. Let's just say this. Use dummy data for everything. So let's see if I get in a queue for this. So yeah, I'm in queue position 95. And you may think, it's going down pretty fast, bro. I was sitting here for a couple of hours and it literally went down 20. And so I'm not gonna wait on this. Y'all see the app. It has functionality. I'm not gonna say this is the worst thing in the world. What I would do is say, hey, build out the functionality in this app because it's very, very robust, but send it to another platform that has different guidelines to create the actual UI around that backend because I just wouldn't say, this type of look is polished. And so we could probably go in and fix this, but I am not about to spend more time inside of Trey fixing this. I may just export this to Git and then finish this in Firebase Studio or something like that. So um, cool tool. Takes a long time to use sometimes. I'm not sure that everyone will have that experience, but all in all, I mean, Trey AI is a free tool that you can use to get things done. You can connect MCPs, you can build out apps, you can get MVPs of ideas that you may have. So definitely utilize it as a tool. But I mean, the queue is kind of crazy, and I'm pretty sure that they have a priority queue or a priority access to it. So definitely check that out. But this has been Delo Brands. If you did learn something in this video, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. This is how we can grow this channel. But I do have to say, we did grow over 140 subscribers in the last 30 days, and I appreciate you guys so much. I'm actually planning on building out a larger kind of content base for AI and doing some in-person events eventually. So stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next video.